January the 11th, 2024. Guys, it looks like the weather's going to give us a lot of grief this month. We just went through what you guys, and we had 12 tornadoes up the East Coast, including Florida a couple of days ago. And now they're saying, and this is going to start tonight, guys, violent storms to bring repeat of southern tornado threat, eastern flooding, and high winds. An even stronger storm compared to earlier this week will blast the southern and eastern U.S. with the potential for millions to be without power in the eastern U.S. ahead of a big temperature plunge. They're calling it like a almost sudden freeze. And they're talking about pipes are be busting. It could freeze millions into the next week. Think about that. And guys, all the way up into Maine, back into Massachusetts, you've had all that snow. Now you're getting a second round of it. You also had some high wind, high surf in that area, and that's going to continue all the way through next week. So you got to be careful with that. It's saying this second powerhouse storm in less than a week will impact much of the eastern half of the nation into the weekend. For many in the southern and eastern U.S., it will seem like a repeat of the dangers and disruptions associated with severe weather, flooding, and high winds from the storm from Monday to Tuesday. And you can see a map here, guys. It's that same center of the nation, low pressure area, wrapping around very cold air. But they're talking about a sudden plunge in temperature, not just overnight, but very quick plunge. And then as we get in, we're going to go through storms this weekend, again severe. And then Monday night, central Mississippi, now they're talking about a low of 6 Monday night, a low of 5 Tuesday night, guys, just to let you know. And what I've done today, and Tina and I have done, is do as much winter prepping starting from daylight until just now, and it's getting dark, to get ready for this, including we have several stacks of firewood, but we brought a bunch on the porch because it was dry, and it's going to rain really bad tonight. And got our Mr. Buddy heaters. We got a small one and a large one. Got them unpacked. We got a bunch of green canisters that go with those. And I know that some of you have, I've heard you mention it, that for the last year or two, you've been getting these Mr. Buddy heaters. And guys, the reason I say that name, I'm not affiliated with it, but they claim to be, and I haven't had any problems with it, to be safe indoors when so many heaters are not like that. So many gas heaters are not. And so you also can get if you haven't gotten your Mr. Buddy heater, and again, it sounds like a commercial, get it this weekend before this happens. And if you can get it, and I think mine are ordered from Home Depot, but if you can get it, there's different places. Walmart has them. But there's a gas line that has valves on both ends that will actually allow you to use like your larger white propane tanks, guys. You know, the 5 and 10 gallon ones like that, instead of the canisters. So think about that in your prep. And we got extra water, some cases of it. And I want to say this, that clean your bathtub out. Especially you folks that have, thousands of you have bought the Alexa Pure water filter. Think about it. Clean your tub out, fill it up, maybe 2 tubs worth before this hits, and you can always dip it out and pour it through your water filters, right? Also, you can flush your toilets and things like that, because once you lose power, and more than likely that's what's going to happen, because tonight in the southeast, they're talking about up to 80-mile-per-hour winds. And then the cold weather comes in. But tonight we could have thunderstorms, tornadoes, very high winds. Again, almost a repeat from a few days ago when Florida and Georgia got hit, Alabama got hit. A lady got killed there, 81 years old. And that's a shame. Beautiful place there. But you can try to warn everybody, but when a tree falls on your house, it's nobody's fault. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was something like that happened to her. So prepare. And think about all the things that are going to happen in the next few days. High winds, storms, tornadoes starting out, going through tonight and tomorrow, and then getting colder. And then, again, central Mississippi will be around 6 degrees. Wind chill the low. And then Monday night and Tuesday night, a low of 5. So you're going to have maybe 36 hours or more below freezing, and that's always a disaster to your pipes. I also got some cutoff valves. I have 2 outdoor water faucets, so I want to be able to drain, cut those things all the way off, and not let the water get outside where it's exposed. Things like that we're doing. Get some extra, if you have PVC, get some extra glue and some fittings, all of that. And if it busts, replace it with PEX. I'm just kind of going through some things that we've been through. And if you have firewood, make sure it's in a dry place. That's what we've been doing also today. And so we stacked it on our porch that's covered. We step right outside the front door, grab it, put it in the wood burner. And more than likely, we're going to be using it. And for you guys that's got solar panels, it's an extra blessing because you can power up a good bit of things with those. You know, your televisions, your computers, your fans, all your cell phones, things like that you need, your Wi-Fi. That's really neat to have. And so each year I see more people do that. And we sat down a few minutes ago when we got through that wood and said, we talked about, I think we've done everything we can do to be prepared. But, there's always something that's going to catch you off guard. Still do everything you can. Now, here it's very warm, guys. It's January. It's 66 degrees outside. It got up to about 70 today, and it is 5:30 p.m. That's when the most disastrous tornadoes hit in our state, is when you've got wintertime and it gets too hot during the day and stays warm like it did last night and possibly tonight. But it says southern thunderstorms to turn violent with risk to lives and property. In the area from the Arklatex through the lower Mississippi Valley, the upper Gulf Coast, and the southern Atlantic seaboard, an outbreak of severe weather is in store, including the likelihood of tornadoes from tonight, Thursday night, to Friday evening. That, again, was why we're getting everything high and dry today. I mentioned this in a video yesterday, was that today would be a day for people in our area to take advantage of the weather and get prepared, because you're going to more than likely lose power, and that's going to make a lot of things rough, especially now that we're probably going to get some ice. It says, unlike the warm season, when severe thunderstorms and tornadoes highly depend on sunshine and heating of the day, severe weather tends to behave differently in the wintertime. During the cold weather season, a surge of warm and humid air does not necessarily have to be accompanied by sunshine. Instead, a strong jet stream and the associated strong storm system are enough to trigger an outbreak. That was the case earlier this week, and it will likely be the case near the end of this week. And this, again, they're starting tonight here. And if you look at this map, I'll pull it up in the center a little bit. Guys, all the way from, again, they were talking about Texarkana and coming in through Tupelo, Mississippi, down to Jackson and to Pensacola, guys. Look at this. A lot of the areas that got hit a couple of days ago in Florida, you're back under the gun again. And up into Columbia, Atlanta, you're right on the bottom edge of the worst. That's the moderate. In a lot of places, Nashville, Raleigh, Richmond, New Orleans, Houston, you're in some threat. What they're saying tonight through Friday, tornadoes, flooding, downpours, and hail. Localized damaging wind gusts 60 to 70 miles per hour. You're talking about Cat 1. AccuWeather local storm max 80 miles per hour. And it reads like a repeat of the storm we just had, but stronger. It says as the parent storm begins to strengthen rapidly tonight, jet stream energy and a surge of warm and humid air will come together and cause an eruption of thunderstorms from southeastern Oklahoma and northeastern Texas to Arkansas and much of Louisiana. The thunderstorms will organize along and ahead of a strengthening cold front. Many of these storms will begin to produce torrential downpours, and that was what happened here the other night during those storms. It rained solid almost all night long, and some of them were very heavy and high winds. And right now outside here, I've noticed the wind starting to pick up. It says many of the storms will begin to produce torrential downpours that can lead to flash flooding regardless of prior drought conditions. Now, some of the ground is still saturated in this area as far as the upper levels of it from the storm. Some storms will also produce strong wind gusts that can knock down trees. A few of the strongest storms will be capable of producing tornadoes. So, guys, get your weather radio on. It's 5:30 p.m. here. Turn on your local weather news channel. See what they're saying about it. It says the darkness of the night combined with wooded and hilly terrain will make any approaching tornado difficult to spot other than the flashes of lightning and transformers blowing out. During the day Friday, that's tomorrow, severe thunderstorms will progress eastward with a strong cold front across the Interstate 10 and 20 corridors from Mississippi to Florida Panhandle, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. Again, same track, but they're saying it's going to be stronger. Some of the same areas that were struck by severe weather just a few days ago, like Panama City and Marianna, Florida, will once again be at risk for severe thunderstorms, including tornadoes. Now, guys, I've seen some drone images from Panama City area, and it looks like a Cat 4 or 5 hurricane. It reminded me in the areas that they were showing of Hurricane Michael, which was updated to a Category 5. That's the one where we lost our sailboat down in Perdido. It says as of Thursday morning, the crews from the National Weather Service investigating the damage have confirmed that at least 22 tornadoes touched down in the southern states spanning January the 8th and the 9th. Some of the tornadoes near the Gulf Coast began as waterspouts. Some severe thunderstorms cannot be ruled out further to the north in Tennessee, part of the Ohio Valley, and perhaps even the mid-Atlantic coast. The same threats will continue from flooding downpours to localized damaging wind gusts. However, the potential for multiple tornadoes will increase during the midday and afternoon as temperatures peak. It says, despite the daylight hours, some of the tornadoes will be obscured by low clouds, drenching rain, or hilly terrain, all of which will add to the danger. By Friday evening, the severe thunderstorms and tornado threat will shift into the zone from North Carolina to southeastern South Carolina, coastal Georgia, and the northern part of the Florida Peninsula. Now, guys, after the storms come through, notice this is Sunday evening into Monday night. The purple areas are ice potential, dangerous travel, power outages accompanied by very cold air. That's when it's going to blast through, and we're talking about 5 and 6 degree lows here in central Mississippi. So you can kind of go from there, but like I said in the other videos, go to AccuWeather or another weather channel or something like that that gives you a forecast out in front and look at your area. But so much of the nation is going to be involved, not in just the high winds, but the ice. We're going to see possibly record snowfalls up in the north. You guys are already catching it. Remember the pictures that a friend sent us from up in Massachusetts, and it looked like it was a couple of feet deep there. That's how it looks. But guys, up in the northwest, they're talking about building up over this storm 100 inches. That's 8 feet. 100 inches. That's a lot of snow. But again, this is what we're going to be dealing with in the southeast. And I know some of you guys up in the north are going to say it's wintertime. What are you talking about? It gets a lot colder up there. Guys, I realize that. And sometimes I wish I was there, especially in the summertime, because this last summer was recorded as the hottest on record, and they say this next one could be just as bad. But right now we got to get through some high winds, tornadoes, ice, and then possibly snow. Now, this is Sunday through Monday, and this is snow. This is in the same areas, but the ice was dipping almost to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, instead of up around just north of Vicksburg in that area. But the darker blue, you're talking 3 to 6 inches. The lighter blue, 1 to 3 inches. So it's going to be, we're going to have tornadoes, ice, snow, floods, name it. It's going to be one of those years. And, it makes you wonder. I know there's some manipulation in the weather, but some of these things are so powerful that man doesn't technically, I don't think, have the energy levels to create such massive events. I know they can make it rain, do things like that, and steer certain storms. But I think Our Father in heaven is trying to get a lot of people's attention, not just in the U.S., but around the world. Things are changing very quickly. And they're talking about being almost a sudden freeze as some of this cold air comes in, especially in the Midwest. You know, the last time I heard that sudden freeze thing was what happened to the woolly mammoths when they found them frozen, still had fresh flowers in their mouth. That's how fast they were frozen. I'm sure it's not going to be like that. But are we starting to build into such excess weather that we could lead into like a moderate minimum or a mini ice age before all of this is over? Or will it just get so hot in the summer it'll burn everything up? We don't know. But I do know that a lot of people are starting to look around and wondering what is going on. Guys, we're going to be watching this. If next few hours we start to see some tornado watches and warnings go up, I'll be the first to let you know. We're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.